So, my feelings around the VTuber episode is that, as nice as I can put this, people don't really know about VTubing. I didn't know anything about it. And so what I did was I looked up as much as I could, and I also, I work full time, and people fucking hate that excuse when you make content. They're like, "Oh, well, you should have still waited or something." It's like, I was looking into VTubers, and I felt that it was necessary, and we talked about this between us, but I felt it was necessary to talk about it sooner rather than later because people were being such weird freaks towards VTubers, and I basically just wanted to say, leave the VTubers alone. They're nice people. And I am
I think
sorry
a lot of people missed that messaging too because it was in the Patreon portion of the episode.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, it's not a big
I didn't
deal.
really respond to a lot of it. I just told the few people that I did was like, yeah, thanks for feedback. Sometimes you do your best, you take a swing, and you don't always, you don't always hit. Whatever.
Yeah,
I thought it was a good episode.
The fact of the matter is that none of us. Yeah, I had fun doing it, and none of it, and I liked watching some of the VTube content. I like the VTubers. I do not like their content. It's not for me, which is what I said in the video. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't have to like. Nobody has to like every single output of every single content creator. And it's so strange to be like, for me to be like, constantly like, I don't like anime. It's like something I talk about all the time. And then it's like, why doesn't Whack know more about these anime streamers? He must be a fake ally and stuff. And it's like,
well, because you are, if you don't like anime.
I guess so.
Alex,
yeah.
are you a weeb? Because I think the lines have been drawn.
I'm too old for that. I'm too old.
Yeah.
When I was coming of age, all we had was Akira, and even then, it was like hard to get a copy of. So
sure.
Yeah, fair enough. And that's some good shit. I have the whole manga series of Akira. I quite like some anime. We've talked about this before, but
yeah.
I remember
Akira is one of my favorites.
When I was in high school, the way that I saw anime was I lived in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and I went to the University of Michigan's anime club where they were getting like real third generation bootlegs of Japanese of anime TV shows, and I was like, you know what, this is too much effort for me.
It is a lot of effort. And
labor of love. That's what makes people really get into it, though. I think of the old heads.
Yeah.
But what I also think is that we need like a political compass for Western Kabuki of like
the weeb content. Sports versus weeb.
Yeah. So I'm the sports and weeb. Juniper is weeb, not sports. Alex, you're neither, and Whack, you are sports but not weebs.
That's correct.
We have everything covered. That's everything that we could ever talk about and care about.
Enough to get the right amount of people angry at us, which is really what you need is a steady stream.
I don't remember if I said this one of the last times that we talked about anime, which I think is just during the VTuber episode, but I think I denounced like specific like the weird anime. But there was one experience I had in college. Me and my ex and a few friends were like, we were like big into watching anime together, and we were like, there's like an anime club. Let's like go check it out. And so we went one time. Do you any of you guys happen to know the anime or manga Assassination Classroom?
I do not.
Okay, so it's like kind of a newer one. It was I think brand new when I was in college. So I guess it was like maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And we were like sitting there like, there's some like neat people here. And it was like a group showing of specific like different shows every week. And we got to Assassination Classroom, and the entire room, except for us, all start doing like the dance to the intro song. Like there's a dance that the characters do, and we like all looked at each other and we're like, oh God.
We're in the wrong neighborhood.
This is like not our like lane. We're not like this kind of like anime. It was very uncomfortable, and we enjoyed the show, fantastic show, but we were just like, ooh, okay. So we're not coming back. But I respect them.
I have not attended my school's anime club, although it is vibrant. There is every type of weeb in there. This poor girl, bless her heart. She makes her own jewelry out of Pokemon cards. And
nice.
She
that doesn't sound cool.
just takes the like pieces from earrings and just punches them through a Pokemon card and wears the cards as earrings. I'm not going to do a fun intro this time. I'm fucking defeated by Sneako. He has really taken it out of your boy. So if you're listening to this, we are going to give you access to the slideshow for free. This is just some pictures, videos, and things where we want to talk about Sneako. I also gave time codes. I didn't clip any of the videos down because Sneako is notorious for responding to people by saying that they took him out of context. He got a page out of Andrew Tate's book. We're going to start noticing a pattern about Sneako in taking pages out of Andrew Tate's book. Here's the thing about Andrew Tate's book. The bro was a millionaire before anybody knew who he was, Sneako. So that is where I want to start with you, Sneako. Hello. I already know you're listening. Your name's going to be in the thing, and I've watched your responses. I am not like some of the other people who responded to you in that I don't plan on speaking about you again. I don't like you. I think you're bad. And I just want you to know that I'm not going to rebut whatever you have to say. Feel free, man. Fire away. The court is yours after this one. We do have a Google Drive that I've made as well. And I am excited for that one. Yeah, Sneako, welcome. I'm not going to be nice to you. I am not going to take you seriously. You don't deserve it.
Yeah, this guy, from what I know, which is just a little bit, I know far more about Andrew Tate than Sneako, but he's just a clown. This dude's just like such a weirdo, from what I know.
He is everything that Andrew Tate is without any of the positive qualities. He is not interesting to watch. He is not particularly intelligent. He is not as wealthy as Andrew Tate. Everything that is even remotely interesting about Andrew Tate is not interesting about Sneako. So I'm going to start off, as you guys can see. Can you guys see my screen all right? I see it's like kind of loading.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, we're good now. I can see everything.
Okay.
Cool. So this is a survey of Sneako. There are a couple pics here. We may want to reference them later on the first slide. On the first slide here, I have a couple pics of him. As you can see on the left-hand side, there's a couple pics of him actually quite young. And that's the first thing I want to say about Sneako. Nicholas Nico Ken Balinthazi was born in 1998 to loving parents who are still together. Now, I'm going to come back to that later because he loves to talk about how his parents were still together. In 2013, at the age of 15, he began streaming Black Ops and soon moved to lending his wisdom to motivational videos he made using his life experience as a high school freshman to inspire others. Was he talking about high school? Nah, he wasn't. So we're going to get to our first clip here. You can see it's a link there. This is a quick one. I don't know if it's going to share. The thing is if I share my whole screen with you guys, it's going to seem really schizophrenic what I'm doing over here. But
I do want to say just really quick that it's kind of crazy how many like content creators spawned around like the 2012 2013 era and are still around. They started as like gamer like type content videos. It's kind of bizarre how like internet culture has not. I mean, there's new people on like the internet scene, but a lot of the big ones like these guys like Aiden Ross have been around for, as far as I'm aware, a long ass time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like Gamergate was 2014, so it kind of makes sense that a cottage industry would pop up around some of these.
God,
horrific.
You're so right. It was 2014. Yeah. I totally forgot it was like just right around that same time.
Yeah, I've actually been talking to my students about that because like they were babies basically when 2014 happened, and I am explaining to them that the riots in Ferguson, Caitlyn Jenner coming out, Rachel Dolezal, and the
Rachel Dolezal,
and Gamergate all happened in the same like year, within the same like 6 months.
You could put together like the craziest theory with all of those names, like that Always Sunny image of Charlie with all the yeah, you can make that with all that.
Rachel being in every conspiracy theory should be a thing.
That should be. All right.
She's a catalyst.
This is the first clip I have. I'm going to play the whole thing of this one. A few of these, I want to play them a little long. This is going to be a longer episode, but I really want us to get like a good breath of Sneako, what he is, who he is, and why he should be jettisoned from this earth and never speak in front of a camera again.
5 years. But like I said, 80% of us won't. That's how life works. People throw the term selling out a lot. And I believe that if you accept a dead-end fucking job to pay your bills, you're selling out. It's not like you can accomplish your dreams later on in life. This is something you can't procrastinate. You actually have to do it. Those conversations you have when you're 40 about what could have been, should have been. You only live once, and no matter what rap lyrics will tell you, that doesn't mean getting hammered out of your mind every Friday. Do you want to finish your life with regret? Then just get off your ass and fucking do something. Getting this far on YouTube was a dream, and I fucking did it. What have you done? This isn't a rhetorical question. What have you done with your life? For some of you, you're proud of your answer, but for most, you're ashamed. This isn't an insult in any way. For once, I'm trying not to offend anyone. Teenagers think they're invincible. People depressed in their 30s look back to their glory years in high school. People depressed in their 30s look back to their glory years in high school. That's because nothing held you back when you were 15. There's literally nothing else in life I hate more than having a dead-end fucking job. Seeing people on TV making something out of their lives, while I'm filing reports for a corporation I despise, would kill me. I had an interview at a school last week, and the interviewer told my dad that she thought I was visionary. She said I had the potential to be the next Steve Jobs. She told my dad not to tell me this, but he did it anyway. And compliments like that shouldn't get to my head, but it sure as hell did. Call me arrogant all you want. Call me a cocky prick. But I'm just confident. Did this make you offended? Good. That's the first step to doing something with your life.
Was I offended? No, that was just really funny. I think it's inherently hilarious for like someone who, he had to have been like 16 or something there, right? Like
I don't know how old he was.
Yeah, but he's like telling adults like he's mentioned something about like being 40 years old and not making something of your life. It's like, kid, you're like 15. What do you know? What are you talking about?
That is such a high school, such a childish way. And this is part of the reason I hate Sneako. He's like the worst impulses that my worst students have. Not just as like academic people, but like children have bad impulses, and he seems to delight in his impulses. Now he's like 25 now, so he's still actually pretty young. But he, yeah, I don't understand the people look back on their life when they're 40. It's like they don't really. You're gonna be fine, bro. Most people are fine.
To say nothing of the fact that like when you're in high school, usually your parents are paying for everything and you can do whatever you want because you have someone covering your ass.
Yeah.
That was the best part of being young, is you didn't really have to worry about shit.
Yeah.
Like assuming you have like a decent home life.
I'll
and stuff,
cop to
which
being
I
in my
thankfully
40s
did.
and wishing that I could still fuck around like I did in high school. I can't do acid anymore like that because I have to get up for my job on Monday. But in high school, that's a story for another time.
But no, I think it's just like such a funny, like, from what I know of Sneako, he's like super Christian, right? Or is he like into Islam now? I can't remember, but he's like super into some religion, and he's like the way he's talking is like if he was like just slightly different, he'd be like the perfect Reddit atheist type person. Like that type of arrogance and like feel like you have it all figured out. And I'm shitting on that, but I was that type of person when I was like 15 and 16. I was like that Reddit atheist. So I'm shitting on it with love, because you don't know like everything when you're 15, but you feel like you do. You feel like you got it all figured out.
Well, lucky for us, Mr. Balanthazi still has it figured out. He is still pretending like he literally knows everything. And there's a lot of things. I think the best... So I watched a lot of videos with Sneako. I watched a lot of Sneako's content. I watched podcast appearances he was on. I watched him do a few different things. And from what I've seen, his... the best video on him is by Ryan Beard, the YouTube reaction guy, and he, like, commentary type guy, and he wears a suit. And I watched his video, and he is shaking with rage at Sneako, and I think that's the appropriate reaction to this person. He is I mean, I feel like I'm spoiling it, but I think people should really know because I'm really not going to be nice to this guy. He's like a Nazi. He believes that the Jews control the media. He has talked multiple times about who really controls the banks, and this small group of people makes all these decisions, and they all happen to have Jewish names. He has said stuff like this on record multiple times. He is more or less a clone of Andrew Tate. He does like streaming content. He does podcasts. He started doing the Black Ops thing, but once he started making money, he was doing these motivational videos like the one I just played, where he tells guys, stop being a fucking loser and get off your ass. So he was doing the Andrew Tate thing before Andrew Tate, but he's also a broke bitch. Maybe he's not now, but he was then. And I will come back to his parents still being together because I have a little theory about that. Yeah, and he's basically risen to prominence in like the past 2 years. Here are some lovely pictures of him as a child when he first started doing his damn thing.
So if you're not following along at home, he just looks like a skinny little twerp.
You should be following along. You have the free thing. You can look at all these pictures. Sneako, follow along. I'm reading from a script, but you still have access to the information. I just am reading the script because I like to write things down. But Sneako, please stay a while. Let's hear from you. I know you've already paused this podcast 35 times to call me a bot and say I'm probably fat and that Caleb is probably fat too and Juniper also probably fat. We're probably all very fat. I'm sure you have said that several times already.
I'm Jewish as well, if that helps, Sneako.
And I'm half black. Juniper's trans. You've got it all. I do want to say, Sneako is mixed race. We do not claim him. The fucking whites can keep him. He is half white, quarter Haitian, and quarter Filipino. And I don't know why every video mentions that, but like literally everyone does is race. I guess white people look at him and they're like, he's not white, but he's not quite not white. I don't know.
I think there's something. I think there's something when there's like a reactionary like this because it happens a lot with like Nick Fuentes too, where it's like, wow, he's really hateful, yet he's not like just white, as if like some weird like, oh, not white people can't be hateful too.
Right,
I don't know. It's kind of a weird.
I mean, Nick Fuentes is gay as well, which is really progressive.
Yeah.
I mean, allegedly, Nick Fuentes is gay. He blasts ropes to furry twink porn more than any straight guy that I've ever heard of. But Nick, thanks for listening as well. First and foremost, I'm giving the information that is broadly true. This is how I want to sort of enter Sneako's world, is not nailing down to any specific facts. I don't feel the need to nail myself down to any specific facts because neither does Sneako. And I'm better than him for other reasons. But like if I get your exact date wrong or when you started streaming Black Ops, oh well, you're a fucking baby and you have a baby brain. So I don't really care. Like if he wants to debunk anything, go ahead. If his fans want to debunk anything, that's fine. You're going to do it anyway, so it's totally fine.
Just make sure to do it in the comments of our Patreon, please.
Yeah, in our Patreon. Because those are the ones we read. Those are the ones we read.
Yeah, Sneako, if you respond there, we will read it, and we will take it seriously.
I promise to get super pissed off about it, too.
I'm going to get like really mad. I'm going to start screaming and crying in the fetal position like you've done a bunch to make fun of people like me. I'm going to do it for real, so you better be ready. Yeah, he started in the early 2010s because he's not old enough to have started earlier than that. And I wrote some of this in the midst of watching his stuff, so I really want to capture the feeling. So this next part that I wrote here, you guys can see it on the screen. I'm really going to like sort of embody what I was doing. It was like midnight. I'm watching a 3-hour Rumble Sneako video, which you can find on our Patreon. I put like links there. You can see it on his Rumble too, but if he deletes anything, Rumble goes out of business. I have the videos. They're on a Google Drive. Yeah, so I'm sitting there midnight in my little office here watching this man speak, and I am just like, I can't believe he is still doing this. I can't, like, I'm watching, because I'm bouncing around. I'm watching videos from like 2016. I'm watching videos from like 2023. And like, he's just the same. He's just the same. And he thinks that's a good thing. He is like, I've been saying this stuff my whole life. This is just me, just who I am. Bro, that's not good. You are bad. So being you is bad. You should do something else.
You stop maturing and growing after like age 14 is not a virtue.
No. And look at this fucking
teacher,
dork.
Like that teacher told him he was going to be like the next Steve Jobs and like a prodigy, and he was just like locked his brain in that day.
Juniper, I don't blame you because you've just entered the world of Sneako. He is lying about that. There is 0% chance that happened. It did not happen.
True. I need to stop taking people at their word. I need to stop thinking that Trump is going to get arrested because he said so. I need to stop thinking
We all thought that. That's not on you. That's on
We
all
all
of
thought
us.
that because we wanted to think that. Let's be honest.
You're right. You're right.
So yeah, watching this crap is insane. He's such a little worm. I got clips coming, but Jesus, this dude sucks. He has been like this a long ass time. He started his career in earnest after he did the Black Ops streams. He started doing the 1 minute podcast where he would do man on the street interviews and then he would later react to his own videos. So,
Okay,
so he would
that
say,
kinda rocks. That's one
I know,
in Sneako's column.
He's basically like the jerk store called and they're running out of you, but he's doing it for real. He is asking real people real questions, and they'll be like, yeah, feminism is cool. He's like, what makes you think that? And they're like, I just think it is. And he's like, who told you that? He's like, nobody. Bye. And then he will react to it, pause it, and be like, see, I knew this guy was a fucking bot from the start. I just fucking knew it. Look at this fucking guy with this fucking shirt. He's wearing this fucking hair. You know somebody with hair like that's going to think this, which is a big thing he does. If he knows what you look like, he will say, of course you think that. You look like X. He says it about everyone. He's going to say it about me if he ever sees my face. He says it about everyone.
Wait. So... Okay, I thought you were moving on. Sorry.
I'm not. No, I'm not, because we got to talk about Jimmy.
I was gonna
he
say,
started his
I didn't
career
wanna
in
just-
earnest with Mr. Beast. He is in a lot of Mr. Beast videos, but he is most heavily featured in the Mr. Beast video, I built a working car using only Legos. Mr. Beast's content is for babies, and it sucks.
Yeah, he's my mortal enemy, as probably many people listening probably know, as I've directly interacted with Mr. Beast lying about him. So,
you lied about Mr. Beast and he got mad at you?
Did you see that? Mr. Beast responded to a post of mine
Awesome.
like earlier this month, and a bunch of his fans got mad at me.
Well, I'm sure the whole West Side Middle School is very up in arms at Juniper, but my students in 10th grade, my 10th graders say they're too old to watch Mr. Beast. So let's not. Like, I asked the kids, we're doing like a thing on capital, or like doing a lesson on capitalism right now. And we're talking about like giving away money versus like donating it and direct donations and things like that. And the kids are like, it's cool because Mr. Beast just gives people cash. And I'm like, yeah, but why does he if he's giving away $3 million, what do we know about that $3 million? The kids immediately are like, he's going to make more than $3 million on the video. And I was like, bingo. So
nice.
He's not doing it because he's a nice guy. He's nicer than some rich people, but he's not doing it because he's nice. Again, don't have another clip here. This creature's voice, Sneako, is so grating. I'm really trying to save you guys. The little kid clip was honestly fine. He has fucking terrible mic discipline, terrible audio setup to this day. He went on Fresh and Fit, which is that like right-wing dude bro podcast where you see like a screenshot and it's like 15 different women wearing bras and then like 2 guys being like, what's your body count? Like, that's the type of podcast he goes on. He sounds like shit on there too. This dude does not know how to use a microphone for somebody who's been doing it for more than half of his life.
Side note, really quick. I just want to mention, like, I don't know why, but in like the last couple of months, a bunch of clips of like those type of podcasts have been being posted to Twitter, and I did not realize just how many like podcasts like those existed. Like, and
There's
they're
a whole
huge.
cottage industry, dude.
I know.
Yeah, well, like, what is like? I guess I've not been paying like too much attention to the like broader podcast industry for a while, but like, holy shit,
You know,
they're everywhere.
I read in Garbage Day, which is Ryan Broderick's newsletter, the other day, that
Great newsletter, by the way.
apparently some of those aren't real podcasts. People
a lot of
set them
aren't.
up.
People don't know that.
To give them the imprimatur of having some kind of authority. A bunch of people sitting around talking into microphones as though they're on a podcast, which to me is so weird because as podcasters ourselves, we can all agree that it lends us no authority whatsoever.
No.
But somehow
definitely
it lends their conversation some kind of legitimacy that they think draws viewers.
Yeah,
maybe it does to a certain type of person.
And
well,
also,
it does
they
for
do
like
it-
TikToks. They can share TikToks, and it can look like it came from a podcast. But the thing is you have some dumbass looking guy and some dumbass looking 3 girls sitting across from him, and they're all arguing with each other. Why should I give a fuck what any of them think? I don't understand it. Like, what is the microphone doing for you? Microphones are like you get a good one, a good enough one for like $50. What the fuck? Like,
Yeah, I mean, in all of those videos, I've never recognized a single person in any of those. So it's like I'm trying to imagine like just a random person that comes across that and like will just believe anything that's said in it. It's like, what is going on here? I don't know. It's been like a new phenomenon that's really interested me.
when we get to the Fresh and Fit podcast, because I do have a clip from Fresh and Fit, I will compare Fresh and Fit favorably to some of the other misogynist podcasts, just because their audio quality is really high. Their episodes are actual episodes of podcasts instead of like 20-second clips. But believe me when I tell you, it is basically a string of 20-second clips laid end to end for 3 hours. It is entirely a way for them to get a got you on a woman, post it to their TikTok, and be like, this dumb bitch thinks she deserves more just because she has a college degree or whatever. That is the whole reason that it is possible or popular. Now, that is that's coming up. But for Mr. Beast, Sneako claims he doesn't mind that he was fired by Mr. Beast, nor does he claim. No, he also claims that he does not mind that Jimmy called him a traitor and a loser. He says that's fine, which is okay. If one of the most popular people in the world called me a loser, I would have feelings about it. But Sneako's too much of an alpha, I guess.
So Mr. Beast fired him and called him a loser. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I am saying. I don't know if he said the word loser, but he definitely called him a traitor.
Okay.
I watched enough Sneako content. I don't need to go through Mr. Beast drama content as well. But in the Mr. Beast videos, he's clearly given a bit of a character in it. And he nails this sort of balance of self-awareness and self-importance. And talking about, like, those years, and that was kind of his character at the time. Like, he was kind of the punching bag, but also kind of like the funny guy at the same time. And now he is kind of like, yeah, it was cringe, but it wasn't for me. I saw him speak kind of cogently about the Mr. Beast years. He was like, Mr. Beast makes content for kids. I don't want to make content for kids. Well, if that was true, Sneako, you would probably stop marketing to children, but we'll talk about that under a different heading. He said it was like sort of mutual, but Mr. Beast did technically fire him, which rocks. That's such a fun thing to say.
That's pretty good. Okay, Mr. Beast, we're allies now.
Yeah.
We're friends. We're friends.
He fired me, but it was mutual. Yeah, he talks about those years as like a stepping stone. He knew it wasn't going to work out with them in between terms. He says he wishes it could have been better. And this would carry a lot more weight if we weren't talking about Sneako and Mr. Beast. But we are. And it is so fucking nasty. Like, just the way he talks about Mr. Beast even is nasty because he wants you to think he's being reasonable when obviously Mr. Beast is going to come off as better literally no matter what. The guy is so good in front of a camera. He is so good at controlling a conversation, and Sneako is bad at it. That's why he has 3-hour videos where he says the same 5 things over and over again and screams about how everybody's bots, and then he asks you to spam W's or L's in the chat. So here's like a more complete clip. This thing that I linked here, I'm going to start it at 32 seconds, but I think the clip is like really long. I think it's
for anybody who is not following along with this slideshow, it is truly one of the most cursed, visually unpleasant things I've ever had to see in my life.
I will say it's very clear, Whack, that you took a lot of time in making the slideshow. And that's Sisyphean to spend a lot of time making a slideshow about Sneako that's like
about
high quality.
Sneako.
Yeah.
About
Yeah,
Sneako.
no one, you're doing the hard work that no one asked for, and I have to respect it.
My wife has just been like, do you need a moment to like decompress from the Sneako stuff? I was like, yeah, like 5 minutes would be really helpful, actually. Just not be with this guy for a second. Yeah, so this is a clip. This is somebody reacting to when Sneako admitted he cheated on his ex. So Sneako is many things. So I wanted to label each of these slides a thing that Sneako is. Sneako is a cheater. He cheated on his girlfriend, and he admitted it to her privately and then began recording.
You recorded it?
Jesus Christ.
Why?
You are
Why would
not
you
going
do
to
that?
believe this conversation that is on a fucking TikTok.
Oh, no.
So this is This is a commentary guy named Papa Tab. Oh, that's a good. I didn't even. Papa, like the daddy, like Papa Tab, a TAB. So this is him reacting, but this is the only place I could find this clip, so I had to pull it from him.
A 1 minute 40-second video, how to mess with other girls in a relationship.
And she said that the problem before was that I was like cheating. It was not cheating, but I was sleeping around and I was lying about it.
Cheating is
I'll let it play.
cheating. Don't try to sugarcoat it by saying, oh, I was just not telling you and lying about it. You're fucking cheating.
Because I didn't think she could handle it. So we had this idea that, okay, now I'm gonna be honest about it. If I go get my dick sucked by some stripper, I'm just gonna tell you.
So that's a great clip of him saying that if he gets his dick sucked by a stripper, he's just going to tell his girlfriend. The actual clip where he like confesses isn't even on Rumble. I would assume that he has some type of deal with Rumble to not have certain videos on there. I would assume that a lot of big Rumble creators have deals with Rumble because
Yeah, how does that work? How is it like an exclusive platform?
so Rumble is racist YouTube.
Right.
It is the
Peter
right
Thiel's
wing
thing, right?
Is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think so. I think it is Peter Thiel. Yeah.
It sucks. I mean, it works fine. The interface is garbage. I'll go to the website while I'm sharing my screen. It's like, it doesn't look good.
It just
It's
kind of looks like worse YouTube.
Yeah, it's a lot busier. There's like all these colors and shit. Like YouTube's kind of monochromatic because the thumbnails are colorful. Oh, look at that. General Flynn is talking to Alex Jones right now. Live, we could listen to if we want to do.
Oh, God, I think I'm fine. Sneako's enough. Sneako's enough for one night.
So he did do the breakup basically on camera, and I don't think I have a clip of it because it has been pretty hard to find, but he basically told her he had been like fucking around, and he became a bit of a pariah after this because a lot of the manosphere guys were like, of course I have sex with other women, but my mind is never cheating, which is what I thought when I was 14. But like a lot of these guys just act like teenagers and then just never stop.
Yeah, I was gonna say I cannot imagine any of his audience or people that would think of him favorably would care that he cheated, and especially I feel like since he admitted it, they would be like, oh, this guy is like alpha for doing that, right? That's how, like, I almost don't believe that he became a pariah because this is like what they love.
Well, so this was a weird time in his career. This is pre-Andrew Tate. So as far as like the balance...
Wait, in this time, was he like not explicitly like super reactionary yet?
He wasn't. That was when he started his second YouTube channel. He has had the Sneako YouTube channel from 2013 until it got banned in October. But the Sneako channel, SHNEAKO, was his like right-wing channel, and it quickly became his more like prominent channel that he would use.
Okay, I guess I assumed, especially like even at a young age, he was kind of always like explicitly kind of, you know, reactionary. Like even during Mr. Beast, I kind of was assuming he was kind of always like that.
I would say he was explicitly not reactionary. He was like, he was a misogynist, but he didn't talk about like trans rights. He didn't talk about trans people at all. He didn't talk about race. He didn't talk about the Jews. He didn't talk about. He was not explicit. It was a lot of like what he would call motivational content, like the thing I played earlier, where he's like, men need to work hard. Women should take accountability and all that kind of stuff, and not really like the more, I guess you'd call it like more serious or whatever. But I just realized I'm looking at the wrong slideshow. I should have the other one open. This isn't my script.
I do find it really funny though that it like at this point in time in like the year 2023, like even looking back at like motivational content that Sneako did however long ago that was, to me that just reads as pure reactionary manosphere, like right-wing-esque like type content, like because that's all these people do now. So like it's just weird how that's kind of shifted, where like I just assumed it was that was always how he was, like right-wing dude, but I guess different time, like nearly 10 years ago.
No, he's not always been a right-wing dude. He's just been in that right-wing space. He's very comfortable in the right-wing space, is what I will say. Okay. And yeah, so this is a video I'm going to play here of him. I know you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm acting like I'm not self-conscious about it.
You are totally fine.
Yeah, he more like to have his toes dipped in the whole thing. But this next one I'm going to play here is a conversation he had with Nick Fuentes. It seems impossible to me at this point that you wouldn't know who Nick Fuentes is, but just in case you don't know, he is a fascist, white nationalist who believes that Hitler was right, that Hitler's a good guy, that the Holocaust didn't happen.
Yeah, this was the guy that was like with Kanye West and explicitly writing some, not all, because of course Kanye was writing and thinks a lot of like the Nazi stuff, but Nick Fuentes was explicitly encouraging Kanye to do more like pro-Nazi like posts online and say all these different things. Like Nick Fuentes is like just a straight up like Hitlerite.
Yes. I mean, that's all he is. He's a fascist. So here are Sneako with Nick talking about Trump being associated with Jeffrey Epstein, which is awesome because they're both just talking about like pedophilia as if it's like a little hiccup. Nick easily convinces Sneako the need for wealthy people to be friendly with international pedophile sex traffickers is a matter of course for someone in his position. Nick also explains that the quote-unquote elite are to blame for making Trump a white hat pedophile, and we know what he means by the elite. It'll be pretty clear when he says it.
Oh, God.
Wait, did I already ask you, you are a big supporter of Trump, and I voted for Trump at 16 too, but there's all these pictures of him with Epstein, and there's a lot of evidence that he was going to the Epstein Island. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's sus, but the thing is about...
It is sus. It's pretty sus. It's pretty sus that a man who became our president went on the pedophile plane. It's pretty sus.
It's he might be base, but it's sus.
It's sus. It's sus.
Yeah.
It's sus.
Just
Let's
sus.
hear him out. Let's hear him out on going to the pedophile island in the pedophile plane. Let's just hear him out.
If Trump were involved in that, they wouldn't hate him as much as they did. Because the thing is, like, you know, you have to look at that in the context of the fact that Trump was a celebrity and he was involved in politics and he was in New York.
He was going to the island too, apparently. He was flying to the island, not just at the parties.
I don't think he was ever at the island.
Is that true?
I think he was on the flight. I don't think he was ever on the island, though.
Okay, so he was on the plane to the island, but not the island? Where'd he get off?
I don't know if he was where the plane was, but
excellent question, Sneako, about the man you voted for. Really great question that I would actually like you to delve in a little deeper with Mr. Fuentes. Where did he get off the plane if not at the pedophile island?
Being is you know, you have to allow to some extent for the fact that, you know, Trump also donated to Hillary Clinton at one point, you know, and Trump went to Hillary Clinton's birthday party and all this kind of stuff. So it's like he was an elite and he rubbed shoulders with the elites, but then he betrayed the elite class, and that's why they hate him. That's how I look at it. Is he was among them, and then he betrayed them, and that's why they hate him, because you're not a billionaire celebrity who is involved in politics is not supposed to run some populist campaign and rally the rubes and like he did. So.
You think he can win again?
Oh, yeah, I think he's likely to win if he's able to run.
What is your plan to help the campaign?
Well, my plan is I'm trying to raise an army of people to get involved in the campaign and then to get involved in the Trump administration, because we got to fire 50,000 people in the deep state and fill it up with people that want to put America first.
Drain the swamp.
Yeah, exactly, because that's the problem is, you know, it's the turnover. These employees, they go in D.C., they work there for their entire lives. It doesn't matter who the president is, and they make all the decisions. So you're not going to change the country until you change the people. Personnel's policy.
So if we get rid of the elites with the help of Trump, then there won't be any more problems with those elites who are secretly controlling Trump to make him do these things.
That's crazy. I mean, of course, Nick Fuentes would believe just like straight up QAnon theory, but that's like, from what I understand, that's like the QAnon theory of Trump, where it's like, oh, he's just a pedophile to expose them. It's like,
and frankly, the fact that you would even ask that, it's probably because of the Jews.
Yeah. Oh God.
I know. We're less than halfway through. Now, my favorite story about Sneako, because it's the one that must upset him the most. We're gonna watch a lot of this clip. I have the whole video here. This is a video he appeared on some podcast where men are sitting on couches and talking in their bare feet. You can see a couple pictures here. One where Sneako replies to the allegations at the top, and at the bottom when he actually confirms the allegations that Sneako is indeed a cuck. And I don't mean a colloquial cuck. I do not mean somebody who likes to
This is like
to
one of the
watch-
4 facts I know about Sneako is that he tried cuckoldry and had a bad time.
Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy that you're a lot of things, but most people know you for this. That must be crazy.
It's literally
You
all I
build
want.
1,000 bridges and fuck one goat, and everyone remembers you as the goat fucker.
Words of wisdom.
He did it like... I'm going to play the clip, but he didn't even have to do it the way he did it. He didn't have to...
He didn't practice safe cuckoldry.
Well, no, he did not have to cuck the way he did, for sure. He could have just let his girlfriend go fuck other people while he's not in the room or in the same bed, but that isn't what he did. He chose to be in the bed with them. That's first of all. He didn't have to do that. Second of all, he didn't have to, like, even if the information got out. I understand you don't always control what people say about you when you're, like, a public person like that. He could have just said, I tried it. It wasn't for me. I don't really know what else to say about it. Some people like it.
Fair and reasonable.
Just be like, some people like it. Wasn't for me. Really fucked up. Because then you could still call people a cuck, and then you could be like, I know. I'm a cuck. It sucks. You're a cuck now, too. It's so easy to do his job. It's ridiculous. So in this clip, the clip in which he begins describing his attendance at a swinging parties, he went to multiple, that he didn't like. It's a long clip. It's like a 2-hour-long podcast, and I won't play it all, but there are a few seconds of him describing his experience at 18 minutes, 27 seconds. And he explains for the next hour or so why he thinks it's cool and normal to be cucked against your will, and the dudes who wish they were fresh and fit, the guys he's talking to on these couches, make fun of him as he sits there and takes it like the little cuck he is.
Oh, I can't wait.
So I got this girl on top of me, and she's, I don't know, yo, I'm just not, and my girl's right here, and she's like, and I'm like, oh, yo, I'm like feeling traumatic thoughts, like seeing her with another person. It's a lot, but I think it's something every.
All right, I'm going to stop it right there for a second before he goes on to describe this. Sneako has on multiple occasions made fun of people's trauma. This is what will destroy your mind watching Sneako stuff. He will say things like, and I quote, boo-hoo, I have trauma. Shut the fuck up. You were raped. You didn't go to war. These are the kinds of things that he says. And
Jesus.
I didn't want to pull all those clips because to anyone watching them, he is clearly somebody who doesn't need to be paid attention to. And he doesn't need to be paid attention to. So I don't want to like own him or prove that he's bad. I just want to show what a nasty, annoying little worm he is, which is why I made such an annoying slideshow for you all to enjoy with it. So he makes fun of people's trauma, and he says he is being traumatized as he is in the bed with another woman who wants to have sex with him, but he can't focus because his girlfriend is having sex with someone else. So we're going to hear him sort of describe his thoughts after the fact on that.
Everybody should do just to test. You know what?
No!
I think you should.
I may smack a nigga.
I said the same shit before.
It's gonna be angry, mad, naked niggas in that bitch.
Bro, like you don't want to be that couple. You know, you don't want to be
I'll
toxic.
be that
man.
couple.
Because
wait, what? You don't want to be what couple?
it's a sex party. Whatever happens there,
I just won't
there.
go. You right?
I think you should go through that trauma.
No,
I think everyone should go through that.
Why you say that?
I'm
Because then you
custody.
get it. This is the point. This is the reason you go to sex parties with your girl. Like you get to see if this is the person that you actually want to be with. Because if you enjoy sex with somebody more, if there's somebody you're more attracted to, or if you're not on the same page sexually, then it's not going to be a good time. But if you can go through that experience like with your partner and like you still. It feels stronger afterwards. Like after all that, everything was like better, to be honest.
So do you still cheat?
I mean,
You know what that sounds? Oh,
less,
so do you
less.
see? But you still cheat though.
Less.
So even after that,
It's
you
not
still
cheating
fuck.
if it's an open
I
relationship.
don't know.
Yeah, it's open.
But you, even
That's just
after
the-
that, you still fuck other women. So what are we talking about?
Actually, no, it's been a while. Like the only time has been like just threesomes.
But you still did it.
Okay, for the next hour, they are going to clown the shit out of him, and it's awesome. I highly recommend listening to it. The audio is exactly as dog shit as it is on there. It doesn't get any better. It is weird seeing these men in their bare feet sitting around on recliners together. Very strange.
Put on some socks.
Yeah, that is.
Did we lose a fucking
that is-
war? What happened here?
Get some fucking Crocs going in here. What is happening?
So I do want to
Please,
just say,
please,
there's,
please.
of course, nothing wrong with being like polyamorous or
course.
doing like open relationship and stuff. But I think the irony here is the type of person that Sneako is and the things that he like insults other people with, right? Like he'll go so hard and like insult like really petty things, but then he'll just admit stuff like this and say he was traumatized. Like that is insane.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it because I have to say it because people keep on, making fun of me about saying I faved the Andrew Tate cuck porn. Like I watch like cuck porn content, but I've never done it in real life because I don't think I would be comfortable not only with my wife fucking somebody else, but I don't like I've only had sex with my wife in the past like 15 years. I don't like want to do that. And like there's also like there's nothing we've looked into it actually. Like we've like looked at like but every time we've like talked about it, it comes we're together so long. And this is the thing that a lot of people like I know it's like kids. I really shouldn't listen to them, but it's like when you're in a relationship for like a really long time, you just have a different perspective on things than people who haven't been in a relationship for a really long time. So it's not like some type of ode to be like, aren't you the guy who watches cuck porn? It's like, bro, just go to Pornhub right now, hit the search tab and screenshot your most recent searches. If you're bad like that, because shit happens, whatever, man. But yeah, I know I'm completely dominating this episode, but he has just really fucking ruined my head, and I just I need everything to be said that is bad about this guy out there. Yes. Cucking, nothing wrong with it. Fucking swinging, nothing wrong with it. Sex parties, nothing wrong with it. But there is something wrong with going in order to inflict trauma on yourself. That is fucking wrong. That is wrong. That is not okay. You should not go to a sex party where everyone is a consenting adult and you're some sneaky little guy trying to figure out if you can get better pussy somewhere. Let me tell you something, bro. You can't, and I'll tell you why. Because Sex is different with different people in different contexts. This is something a lot of young men don't really understand. So I think it's important that we say it here for any of our younger listeners. What he is saying is cockamamie nonsense. Fucking other people who you enjoy fucking better than your girlfriend doesn't mean you're secretly meant to be with them. It's not like a sword in the stone thing where you're finding the right person to put it in and that's your soulmate. That's not how it works. That's a middle schooler's idea of sex, and it's also a college student's idea of sex, but it shouldn't be. It's really wrong.
I think that we should know less about each other.
I mean, I agree.
That's a very good point. We don't need to know these things about Sneako. Doesn't need to tell us this stuff. Like, of course, we're subjecting ourselves to this and people listening to this, but does Sneako need to tell the world? Probably not. And I would prefer if he didn't, probably.
It's weird because he loves talking about it, even though it runs, I guess, contrary to his like alpha male persona or something. So maybe he actually is a cuck and he just like gets off on that dichotomy. He's like on two like meta layers of cuckoldry. I don't know, but
maybe this is part of it. Maybe he gets off to this.
This is my first thought, but I don't want to think about that anymore. So let's continue the clip.
Well, I will say about accusing him of being like a shame fetishist, like this is some type of way he gets off. That is the other part of the reason I'm not responding to him, because I first found out about Sneako from a different YouTube commentary guy, Noah Samson. Noah Samson was watching these different man on the streets interviews that you see where they ask a girl like, do you think all girls deserve to be treated with respect? Well, then why don't girls treat their men with respect? And it's like that kind of stuff. You ask like a drunk girl on the Vegas Strip what she thinks about feminism and stuff. Yeah, so Noah Samson was talking about those people, and he played a clip from Sneako reacting to it and just said something about Sneako. The video was not about Sneako. Sneako did like an hour-long live stream where he watched Noah's video but paused it like every 5 seconds and was like, guy's got a fucking cat. He's got a fucking cat. He's a grown man with a fucking cat. What are you doing with your life? It's like, a cat? The dude's like not even talking about you, but he spent like an hour just fucking pissed off.
Fellas,
he's going to claim...
Is it gay to own a cat?
He's going to claim that we need to do this episode in order to feed our families. That's something he likes to say. Oh, before I go to the next slide, you guys notice the background? I was pretty proud of putting that in the background.
Yeah.
On this slide. The Sneako the Cuck slide.
It was the first thing I noticed.
I was pretty happy with that. I'm pretty happy with this next one, too. But
for the listener at home who's not following along, it's that meme of the... small white woman sitting on the couch surrounded by large black men who she immediately proceeded to have a rough gangbang with.
Yeah. So this is a video. I have the full video here. This is like a 5-minute video. I'm going to play it through the middle. But this is a video in which Sneako pretty much admits to being a pedophile.
Oh, tight.
Oh, God.
Love that.
I put it in here for plausible deniability. I said it quickly. I meant PDF file. He's a human PDF file. But let's check out these. Let's check out this clip real quick. 3:30. Is that what it said? This is what I do at school too. This is just my whole fucking day. Just like jumping around clips, looking at Google Slides. All right.
That's how you have to be a teacher these days.
It is.
The other people that they see admired on their phone. If you're really pissed off about this movie, you just don't fucking understand.
Oh, I didn't even say what movie we're talking about. Are you guys familiar with the Netflix 2019 film Cuties?
I'm familiar with it. Yeah, I never watched it.
Oh, I never watched it either. I watched a couple reaction videos that were mostly blurred, like people just talking about the movie. It's apparently really fucked up. It is about I believe a Somali refugee girl who, from a devout Muslim family, who moves to Paris. And she sees that all the other girls are being sexualized while she has to wear like full body covering and a head covering. And her parents are very mean. They're like abusive fundamentalists. And the movie is about the over-sexualization of children. Again, I haven't seen it, and I don't want to make any accusations that can't be substantiated, but the film explicitly sexualizes children. Not just part of the film, right? Because it is about children being sexualized. But the director of the movie tried to make the maximum amount of impact with her message about the sexuality and sexualizing of children by using real child actors. Real children in like real like outfits. As you can see, I censored the thing here. I think it's better that way. But real like bikinis and stuff, and the actresses are literally like 13 to 15.
It seems a little weird, I'll be honest. It's a little strange.
So the director's a woman, and she claimed that like it was an important thing to show how explicitly how girls are sexualized in the Western culture. I find that unconvincing because the camera
I do get it, but I don't know. There's like a balance, you know. I don't know. I never like engaged in this discourse when it was happening, just because it's like I don't really know. Like I don't know what the right opinion is on this. Like I'll be honest. Like
so it
just seems weird. It's just like a weird discourse.
Yeah, and it is hard to talk about because it is hard to know, and I don't want to watch the movie. But
me either.
It is. It is Sneako's favorite movie, as he says in this clip. You can watch the whole thing if you want to hate him as much as I do, but I'm going to start from where I left off here.
Growing up with social media, I like this movie because it's extremely provocative, but it's realistic. A major criticism of this film was that it's child porn, that they were just showing these kids and that it's going to bring a bunch of pedophiles in. I don't think so. Not more than anything else that's on the internet now, or not more than beauty pageants in America, which still exist and are exactly what you see in the film. It's also really funny to see the difference.
All right, I needed that. Needed that shit. Let's go back. Let's hear what he says again. I think it's important to re-listen to what he says here.
Just showing these kids and that it's going to bring a bunch of pedophiles in. I don't think so.
He does not think that the film will bring in a bunch of pedophiles because it is not showing children in a sexual light.
I don't think so. Not more than anything else that's on the internet now, or not more than beauty pageants in America, which still exist and are exactly what you see in the film. It's also really funny.
What's up, Sneako? What's up, Sneako? So the beauty pageants are pedophilia, and they still exist in America. And the movie shows beauty pageants with child actors, but that's not pedophilia. Now, it is 100% possible that he misspoke here when he said it's not in the film. I think what he meant to say was that it's in the poster. That the poster for Cuties is misleading because the American poster versus the French poster are very different. He says this in the clip. But that the American poster is sexualizing the children and the French poster is not. It's not what he says, though. He says that American beauty pageants are pedophilia, and you can see them in this film, and that it is his favorite film. Yeah, that's all I really wanted to hear from him there. You can listen to the whole thing.
What was that Nick Fuentes thing? That's sus. But
yeah, it's a little sus.
As we've learned, you can be sus if you're based enough. The sus to based ratio has to be a certain way, or you're fine if it is.
We need to make a formula. We need to figure out the formula of sus to based
ratio.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's for y'all. I think I've done enough work with this.
We'll figure this out.
You guys get in the supercomputer lab and start cooking up the sus to based spectrum. That could be our political spectrum. Weeb to sports, sus to based.
It's the Western Kabuki theory of the sus to based ratio.
We're all so based, though. How are we gonna?
I will proudly proclaim that I am not based.
Oh shit.
Well, we have to figure it out still. We can't declare anything until we figure out the theory.
So I have a few of these slides of Sneako parroting whatever he is told. And next one is from the Fresh and Fit podcast. Fresh and Fit is probably the more popular of the podcasts like this. There's a lot of them. This one is 3 hours long, as you can see on the little playhead there. Wait, 3 hours, 35 minutes, and 41 seconds.
Is this just like a vlog? What is this?
It's a podcast. Podcast. It's a video podcast.
Okay.
And I'm going to explain the thing. It's going to take a second to load here because it's such a long clip. But I'm going to explain sort of what the podcast is because I didn't know. I watched most of this episode of Fresh and Fit. I skipped around it a lot because it's very repetitive and very boring. But basically what Fresh and Fit it bills itself as is a culture and lifestyle podcast hosted by two professional media trained type of people, but then they bring in a bunch of non-media trained, non-professional types. And as you can see there, they have them sit around the table all together.
Oh, I've seen clips of this like a couple of times before. Yeah.
Yeah. So then what they do is they try to talk to those women. Some of them as young as 18. They're not media trained at all. They're brought on to be berated and demand their body counts, which is literally happens in this video. I think somebody does give their body count. They are asked to answer for such crimes as Lady Macbeth's unwomanly conduct and Eve's eating of the apple. They are constantly just given blame for everything that any woman ever did. And they take it because many of them are Instagram models or online entrepreneurs. So they go on there to like boost up their brand. And in exchange for boosting their brand, they get called all sorts of horrible names by the commenters of the Fresh and Fit podcast. It is exhausting because the first thing they do is they go around and they have every girl introduce herself. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 girls on camera plus 4 more off camera on the couch that they're also going to ask. They're going to ask basically ASL. They're going to be like, where are you from? What's your name? How old are you? What's your body count? And what's your education level? And I guess they think that's okay. So you can see the girl right there in the middle. She has a red shirt that says sex sells. She has an OnlyFans. A lot of these people have OnlyFans and things that they sell. These guys constantly talk down to the OnlyFans girls. They have them on and then they're like, but you do OnlyFans, so it's not like real work or whatever. Very common. Yeah, these conversations are toxic. You should not watch them. I'm going to jump to 26 minutes and 30 seconds and play until 28 minutes. But you can feel free to listen to this full 3.5 hour thing if you're worried that I'm taking Sneako out of context.
I'll be honest, I am not planning on doing that. I really do not want to do that.
I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched a lot of it.
Right. Bro, you know the address already. Fresh could text it to you if you forgot. But yeah, man, shout out to you. Me and him were talking real estate yesterday. The only guy on OnlyFans that makes $1 million a month on OnlyFans without necessarily having sex. It's all financial stuff. Mm-hmm. So shout out to him, man.
I want to ask one more because his reputation right now, Andrew and Tristan.
Hold on. The couch real quick. On the couch. Innocent, guilty. What do you think?
Innocent, guilty.
They went around the table and asked everybody if they thought that Andrew Tate was innocent or guilty of the charges of human trafficking and rape.
Who said guilty?
Who's guilty?
19-year-old.
Egypt.
Why do you think
what
that?
makes you say that?
I just feel like he's guilty because his whole perspective, like I feel like he would do that.
What about his perspective makes you think that?
I just feel like he would do that. Like
because
wasn't a charge for like trafficking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about his perspective makes you think that he would sell women for money?
Because
misogyny.
He don't like. I feel like he doesn't just respect women like that.
He doesn't respect women. He says that women are beautiful creatures that need to be taken care of, and women are one of the most beautiful things about this world.
It's probably easy to ask her, what does she think he's done that has been disrespectful to women, or what is his thoughts or ideologies has been disrespectful to women?
Yeah.
Sneako cucked again by somebody with a better idea than him. So
I do
he
love
goes
the
on to
idea of multiple men sitting around and dissecting what a woman just said, trying to interpret it rather than asking her to clarify herself. That's very
right. Yeah, yeah. Oh, if you like men talking over women, you should check out the Fresh and Fit podcast. If you like men asking direct questions and then interrupting a woman before she can answer, you should really watch the Fresh and Fit podcast or listen. I don't know if you can listen to this. How the fuck could anybody listen to this? You have 14 girls ages like 18 to 33. Like you're never going to be able to tell who's talking. People complain that they can't tell who's talking in our podcast.
Yeah, we have like 4 or 5 people max talking in a single episode.
Yeah, so he berates this 19-year-old for a while. I'm going to keep it playing, but yeah, I just wanted to point out Sneako got cucked again.
Yeah. Mostly stuff I see on Instagram, like he just seems like that type of person.
Does he say I can't drive type shit? You keep it on me.
What did you see?
I've seen a lot of stuff on Instagram.
Like,
can you name one thing? One thing specifically.
One thing.
She probably saw a 15-second clip.
I know,
exactly.
I
honestly can't remember like how it
This is the whole point. She has strong opinions. She believes he's guilty, but she cannot name one reason why. And so I want to clear this up. That's why I want to ask you specifically, because you've met him before. What was your experience with him? Do you think that he was disrespectful towards women?
No, I don't think he was disrespectful at all. He seemed like decent. He
didn't try to sell you?
I hear some doubt in there.
But I mean, there's no proof, so I would say like he's innocent, like until proven guilty. But I don't think that he did that.
There you go. I mean, you see the stark difference between people who've seen 15-second clips on Instagram and people who have met him in real life. They all have the exact same opinion. They think he's an upstanding gentleman. And then people who just look at Instagram, they end up getting programmed. They believe that he's a bad person and they have no reason ever as to why.
That's so crazy that people will like, because I mean, I think many people at this point have seen like clips of Andrew Tate. And I mean, we had a whole episode where we talked about him where he will just say the most like misogynistic, crazy things ever. And it's like, I don't know. Are we living in like a different world where like people like Sneako think that that's just like a normal thing to say or to say to or about women? Like, I don't know. That always like blows my mind.
I think it is in a lot of ways the incel mentality. Like he's not an incel. He's dated a bunch of girls and stuff, but it is that mentality of like not just women, but basically everybody has a value. You are either valuable or worthless, and you fall in a spectrum that way. And it's really sort of dark, you know, because you're basically like looking into yourself as a god and finding yourself lacking. And it's a really like grim existential place he finds himself in. And it's so off-putting. I mean, that podcast is the vibes are fucked at the Fresh and Fit podcast. That it's got like the GTA fonts everywhere. It's in Miami. Yeah. Of course it's in Miami. Where else would you get all those people together? It's in Miami. And it's the vibes are fucking bad over there. And I don't understand like how someone can be so outwardly facing, so publicly facing. Like he watches his own content. And he comments on his own stuff, which I'm going to get to as well. The most infuriating part about Sneako. The most infuriating part about Sneako is yet to come. But I do think that what I sort of want to point to with a lot of the Sneako stuff is that I think he is a dangerous person. And I don't mean his ideas are dangerous or misogyny is dangerous. I think he is a deeply unwell and dangerous character. And I think he has an extremely shallow affect. I don't think he thinks about anything very deeply. I don't think he's very intelligent. I don't think he's very interesting. And I think he knows it, and I think he resents his lack of talent, his lack of intelligence, his lack of charisma, and I think he covers it up by jumping around on the camera and lying and screaming. And I think at the end of the day, you know, he is a malignant personality, and a lot of the time when malignant personalities like have their narcissism proved incorrect to them, they can really tend to lash out. So if you are a woman who knows Sneako, do not date him. He is highly dangerous.
Yeah, something I think I've especially realized in like the era of Elon Musk's Twitter is, I mean for a while, but especially so in this current era of Twitter, is that a lot of like specifically like well, I don't want to say boring, but just like people that don't have like a lot to offer personality wise. Okay, maybe that's unfair. Basically, a lot of people that are right wing, like Sneako, like Andrew Tate, they don't get like a following for like being necessarily like good or interesting or like cool or funny people. Like a lot of the people that get attention on the right, and a lot of us kind of give into it too, is they'll say something hateful and they'll get a lot of attention. They'll get like a lot of affirmation from their audience, and they'll be like, hell yeah, continue being hateful.
It's
and
the
then they'll
politics
be
of
like,
spite.
Yeah, precisely. That's the perfect way to put it. It's politics of spite. And then people like us on the left will maybe like respond to it or like quote tweet it or make content about it. And it's like a self-fulfilling cycle where becoming spiteful is their personality, like that it becomes them. That is who they are. They don't really have any like thing to offer other than that.
They're the fucking pink slime in Ghostbusters too. The more you hate, the more powerful it becomes.
Yeah, unironically, that to an extent it is true, which is really sad.
Yeah, it is. It's sad. He's a sad person, and the cuck thing is like the first sort of instance we saw of him being really sad. And this is part of the reason that I watched like all of the content that I did, is because I watched a bunch of like Sneako reaction videos, who is Sneako type of videos, from friend of the show Jawbry, from Ryan Beard, from Nick is Not Green, from Chad. I watched a bunch, and I learned about him through these like people reacting to him, and they would highlight the especially hateful and violent things that he would say. And I didn't do that because he says very hateful, violent things. I'm going to play one of the clips. The clip I think probably got him banned from YouTube. And I'm going to play a couple more intense clips, but I just want it to be known that I don't think anybody should talk about him. And I'm doing this Sneako stuff this way because I just want everyone to be done with him. And Sneako, if you want to own us so hard, delete all of your accounts and get a job at the credit card company. I don't know. Start answering phone calls or something, man. Do something normal. All right. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to our Patreon. We are going to continue our discussion about Andrew Tate. The next slide is called Andrew Tate, and we're going to be talking about Sneako. They're very similar guys, except for one of them's a broke loser and the other one is in jail for rape. You can go ahead and guess which is which. Please follow us on Patreon and on Twitter. We're going to continue talking about this. And on the Patreon, Sneako, this is just for you. You're going to want the Google Drive of stuff, the Google Drive I have of the like pictures of you and videos of you. So I just want you to sort of scroll through that on your stream on Rumble and tell them that we're all like cucks and stuff, and we'll be owned. So $5 a month, Sneako. And you can. Do you prefer Sneako? Do you like Nick? Is it Nico? Tell me. I'll whatever you like, man. Yeah, you can follow me at Whack Nicholson, Juniper at Juniper, JUNLPER, and Caleb at The Bird Respecter. Thank you.